A monsoon has descended upon Nashville, braving the elements. Our third member of our team, Audra Martin.
Thanks, Corey. This time last year, so much of the conversation about this Titans team was the moves they made to beef up the offensive line. Little did we all know, they weren't done yet. With the 11th in the draft, the Titans selected our game. And that move left many to wonder what that meant for veterans like Michael Roos and newly added Michael Orr. Now, Luan has made it very clear that he wants to start for this Titans team, and his aggressive, gritty style could possibly earn him that job. But even if that doesn't happen, he still considers it a win-win situation.
First of all, I agree. They had a good offensive line before I came here. And I think being in a situation to have the opportunity to be around Roos, be around Orr, Schwenke, Chris Spencer, who's been in the league, this will be his 10th season, being around those kinds of guys is going to make me a better player, not just this year, but 6 years down the road as well. So if I can, learn from Roos and learn from Orr and all those specific things when it's my turn to be the left tackle, then I'll be able to thrive because of what they've taught me.
And as the Titans are getting ready to kick off and receive, it looks like it's Michael Roos for sure out there because the starters are only going to have about 12 reps in this game. That means we will see plenty from that first-round pick, Taylor Lewan. Corey?
Thank you very much, Audra. We wish you well down there on the sideline.
Man.
Eddie, it is pouring
You
out.
said it was going to pass through. This looks like a steady rain, my friend.
They said 20%, and 20% is winning. The Titans won the toss, deferred. The Packers are receiving. Maikon Bonani kicks off for the Tennessee Titans. Kicks about 3 yards deep in the end zone, and coming out, Juwan Harris close to the 40-yard line for the Packers. The Packers are here. Aaron Rodgers is here, but Aaron Rodgers will not play. Also sitting out tonight, Jordy Nelson and Eddie Lacy. So starting at quarterback for the Packers tonight, veteran backup Matt Flynn, who has had good games in Green Bay, got some big money elsewhere, and now is back in Green Bay. And the Titans line up in a new 3-4 hybrid defense. We'll give you how it lines up momentarily. 1st and 10 from Starks bumped out across. It's very close to a first down. Your Green Bay Packers starting offensive lineup. Koa and it's 2nd and 1. Here you see the tucks it for a Packer first down. Going back to that Packers offensive line, led by Bakhtiari at left tackle, then Sitton, Treader, Lang, and Brian Bulaga in his 5th year out of Iowa. And the Packers are right at the midfield line. And Eddie, I know Ken Wisenhunt told us this morning he'd like nothing more than to see 2 3-and-outs to start. That will not happen.
That will not happen. And it's a transition period for a lot of these guys, making a transition from a 4-3 defense to a 3-4.
3 men in the backfield for the Packers, and they'll hand to Starks up the middle, and Sammy Hill is there to wrap him up. Big Sammy playing the nose for Tennessee this year, 6'4", 328 pounds. Your Zaxby's starting lineup on the defensive line. Really big on that side of the ball now with Rapati, Patoa, Hill, and Casey. Linebackers, that's right. Derek Morgan and Cam Wimley are now outside linebackers in this 3-4. Woodyard and Brown inside. The secondary, Sensabaugh gets the start tonight, replacing Alteron Werner, joined by Pollard, Griffin, and veteran Jason McCourty. 2nd down, 8 to go for the Packers, who are in Titans territory. Flynn, short toss to the tight end. That's Richard Rodgers who's got a first down.
And it seems like Green Bay is definitely moving the ball efficiently against the Titans' new look. But when you look at it on paper, I really like this defensive front for the Titans. It can be formidable. They're stout up front. Once they start to understand the nuances and gain a chemistry defensively, they can be pretty stout. But they're really struggling right now to find that chemistry.
And it's first down for the Packers, who've got One man split wide to each side. Another hand to Starks. Good penetration, but he slips by. Wrapped up and brought down. Xavier Gooden with the tackle, but a nice run by Starks. Nice footwork from Starks, who had a decent year last year.
And again, great penetration. You just got to finish the play. Make the tackle in the backfield. Pretty elusive, and I really, again, I can't emphasize enough, this is a new defense of philosophy for the Tennessee Titans. A lot of guys are asked to do different things, so it's going to take them time to figure that out in game time speed.
The new defensive coordinator is Ray Horton, who also worked with Ken Wisenhunt when he was the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. He spent last year with the Cleveland Browns, and they made a nice jump up defensively. Second down now, Starks again. Nice move in the backfield. Bernard Pollard wraps him up about 2 or 3 yards short of the first down. Bernard Pollard coming off a career year in his first year with the Titans. 142 tackles last year, 3 interceptions, and he gets a lot of criticism for his pass defense. He had 12 pass breakups last year.
He's very active, very aggressive playmaker for the Tennessee Titans. He's becoming a vocal leader. And if he can continue to do that and really be the spark plug of this defense, they have great things to come.
3rd and 3 for the Packers. The rain still pouring down. Starks again. Slips a tackle by Patoa Tua, and he's got a first down.
The Packers keeping everything on the ground, getting a lot of first downs by running the football. Big 3rd and 3, and as a defense, you want to get off the field, and the backside cutting lanes are there for them. So that means they're not getting the backside pursuit. He's got to make that play.
A lot of arm tackles there.
A lot of arm tackles, so they got to learn how to run through. And granted, this is the first time really they're going live, so you almost expect to see sloppy play. And this is definitely sloppy on the Tennessee Titan defense in terms of tackling.
Just outside the 20, first down, another 3-man backfield, and Starks getting a healthy dose again. He's to the 10 and the 5, and Starks is in for a Packers touchdown. James Starks busts it in from 20 yards out, and Green Bay is on the board.
Well, it's no secret that the Green Bay Packers are going to establish the run, and they've done it consecutively in the first 2 downs, and Starks takes it right through the teeth of the defense. For Tennessee, they're going to have to figure some things out and get it done.
And it was very interesting to see everyone go to the goal line for the extra point, because the first 2 weeks in this preseason we're kicking extra points from the 15-yard line. So Mason Crosby is going to tee it up from the 23. It will be a 33-yard point after this game and the next game. Crosby's kick is up, and it is still good. And the Packers start with a very efficient, effective drive on the ground, ending in a 20-yard touchdown for a 7-0 lead. This is Titans preseason football, brought to you by Nissan. In the history of LP Field, it has never rained harder during a game. Obviously affecting the start of this one. It's also affecting our broadcast a little bit. If your picture's a little spotty from time to time, it's because there is a monsoon over LP Field here in Nashville. Eddie, have you ever seen anything like this in this building?
Never seen anything like this. The only thing I can recall of seeing anything like this was the flood
in Green Bay.
But it seems like Green Bay always brings this type of weather with them.
So you're blaming the Packers?
Absolutely.
Mason Crosby kicks deep to Mark Mariani, who will take a knee, and the Titans will take over 1st and 10 from their 20-yard line. That Green Bay scoring drive was 8 plays. 7 of them were on the ground. 6 of those carries went to James Starks, who had 49 yards. So the Titans offense takes the field, led by that man. Former first-round pick Jake Locker, coming back from a pair of injuries last season. First time out, it was a knee and a hip. He only missed 2 weeks, amazingly, and then came back and suffered a Liz Frank injury to his right foot, which was a career ender not long ago, and has made a remarkable comeback and is ready to roll here as the preseason begins for the Titans. Sean Green is the back in the backfield for Tennessee, facing a 3-4 Packers front. Green gets the carry on first down. Green about a gain of 3. Let's take a look at those Zaxby's lineups, starting with the Titans on offense. At the skill positions, Green, Battle moving to fullback, Washington right, and tight end Delaney Walker coming off a great campaign. And up front, a lot invested in this group. Michael Ruse, Andy Levitri, Brian Schwenke, Chance Warmack, and the newest Titan, Michael Orr, who comes over from the Baltimore Ravens in the offseason, signing a 4-year, $20 million deal. 2nd down and 7 for Tennessee. Locker hands to Green. Nice seam up the middle there, and he puts his head down for a nice 5-yard gain. On the defensive side, here are your Zaxby's starting lineups for the Packers. Dayton Jones, B.J. Raji, and Mike Daniels up front. The linebackers, Julius Peppers coming over from the Chicago Bears. He's had a bit of a career. Hawk also in there. Tremont Williams, Richardson from Vanderbilt. Hyde, Shields are your defensive secondary. A couple of Vandy players for the Packers tonight. Also a Middle Tennessee player. So it's 3rd and short, about 3 yards to go, and Locker will go from the gun. He's going deep down the sideline for Justin Hunter, and it falls incomplete. Hunter was locked up man-to-man, but didn't look like he ever really found the football.
No, he didn't. And for the Tennessee Titan offense, you had progress 1st, 2nd down. Jake Locker has to win on 3rd down. Looked like a miscommunication there between him and the receiver. So we have to wait and see. But if I'm Ken Wisenhunt, I like what I see out of my offensive line, especially the first 2 plays for the offense.
We did not see Taylor Lewan, their 1st-round pick, the 11th overall out of Michigan, 2-time Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. He will come in later tonight to spell Michael Ruse. Brett Kern on to punt for the Titans. He stands at his 13. Low snap, but he gets it away. It's caught and fumbled. The ball's on the field and scooped up. The Packers recover. That's Devontae Adams with a moment of trepidation.
He looked calm, though. He tapped the ball to himself, picked it up. But you got to be very conscious of catching the football, especially in this type of weather.
Rookie from Fresno State escapes a turnover. Titans take the field on defense. Coming up next on the Titans Preseason Network, brought to you by Nissan.
1,700. Yeah, he's a beast.
Ken Wisenhunt, I don't know if this was the way he wanted to start his Titans career. In a monsoon down 7-0, became the 17th head coach in team history on January 13th, replacing Mike Munchak. The Packers back on the field at offense from their 22. Flynn still the quarterback. Play action. Short pass broken up nicely by Derek Morgan playing linebacker. What did I ask Coach Wisenhunt this morning? Can Derek Morgan do it in pass coverage?
Well, we just found out, and this is a new situation for Derek Morgan, new responsibilities in 3-4. He's going to have to come out in coverage and see if he can do a good job. So you'll see him drop out in coverage, and that's what the 3-4 outside linebacker does. His responsibility is to take the flat, does a good job, almost gets the pick. But that's what he's going to be asked to do, not only rush the pass and defend the run, but also play pass coverage.
He said he played tight end in high school. He swears he can catch the football. Don't know if I'm buying it. 2nd down, it's DeJuan Harris. Tripped up at the line. Nice hit on the play by Michael Griffin, and he's going to lose a yard or 2.
Better run fits for the defense for the Titans. Michael Griffin, the veteran safety, sees this play all the time, read his key beautifully. He comes down and fills the gap. And that's what they're going to have to get used to. Bodies are flying, moving up front. Michael Griffin comes in, makes the hit. Good job. So the Titans are getting used to making their run fits in this new philosophy. And it's going to take them time to get used to it. And that was a great play by Michael Griffin.
It looked like Zach Brown, number 55, was the first one in there to kind of slow things down. He has moved inside from outside linebacker. He has a transition to make. It's 3rd and long. Flynn going over the middle, and it falls incomplete. And we've got a flag on the field at the line of scrimmage.
Number 26 offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
An illegal shift by DeJuan Harris is declined, and now the Packers will take their turn punting into the monsoon, and Mark Mariani takes on the challenge of looking up into this thing and trying to catch a football.
Good job by the Tennessee Titans defense getting a 3 and out after that rough start. Green Bay ran the football down the field, got the first touchdown of the game, but they did a nice job of run fits, defending the pass in that last series.
Tim Mustay with the punt. Nice high spiraling punt. Mariani calls a fair catch at about the 34-yard line, and that's where the Titans will take over 1st and 10. Packers still on top 7-0. You're watching Titans preseason football, brought to you by Nissan. We're close. 15. .7:55 play in the first quarter. The Packers lead the Titans 7-0 at LP Field. Get the Titans 2-pack. Choose the NFC or AFC package by calling 615-565-4200 right now. Select the Cowboys, Giants, or the Browns, Steelers to lock in your seats at LP Field. For more info, call 615-565-4200 right now to speak to a Titans ticket rep or online at titansonline.com. Tickets. Locker going to keep it himself on 1st down. It looked like there was a mix-up in the backfield, but he gets a short gain out of it.
It looked like he didn't have full control of the ball. He's in the pistol formation in the shotgun, tailback directly behind him. It looks like it's a handoff. Couldn't quite get a good handle on it. Hey, you know what? He's used to doing that. He knows how to do things with his legs, but they're trying to teach him to be more efficient in the pocket.
But what do we like about the way that play ended?
It was a positive first
He
down.
fell down and he did not take a hit. That was the most important part of that play. And so he gains, we'll give him 3 and make it 2nd and 7. Locker to throw this time. Short toss to Justin Hunter. That's good for about 5 more yards. And Eddie, I got to ask you, I mean, you played for a long time. You said you never played in this here, but these kind of conditions, when do they start to make an impact?
Oh, definitely throughout the course of the game. We saw that in terms of tackling, you get sloppy ball protection, watching the ball in when you're catching the football. All of those things now you have to pay more attention to when you're out in your routes, especially for receivers, staying low in your cuts because now the field conditions are sloppy.
Dexter McCluster has entered the game for Tennessee. He was signed as a free agent to play these types of snaps, and that's incomplete, and we've got a flag on the play. Eddie, they are going to crack down on contact from the defensive backs.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 29, 5-yard penalty. Previous spot, automatic 1st down.
That's Bill Levy, the referee, with the call. Any type of hold or tug on the jersey, it doesn't matter if they think it has an impact or not, they are going to call it.
Yeah, it's a huge, I mean, it's a ticky-tack call, but it is the preseason, and they're making a huge emphasis, putting a huge emphasis on that you're not going to touch the receiver at all past 5 yards or within that 5-yard range.
And that call was against Casey Hayward, the former Vanderbilt Commodore, and it was not at the point of the pass. It happened in the middle of the field. But he locked up with the receiver, and they made it clear. We had a meeting with the officials last week. They are going to call it. So it's 1st and 10 for the Titans at the 46. Green and Battle are the backfield. There's a fumbled snap, and Locker falls on it. And that's just what you were talking about, Eddie. The monsoon is taking its effect, but you can't let it. I mean, this is what practice is all about.
Practice, you have to play in these conditions, and you're getting paid a lot of money. And that exchange between center and quarterback has to happen regardless of the weather.
77 degrees, wind out of the south-southwest. It's a little muggy, and yes, it's raining. A lot. 2nd and long, another hand to Green. Green, nice tackle on the play, taken down hard by Brad Jones, the 6th-year man from Colorado. This Packer defense last year ranked 25th in the NFL, gave up 372 yards a game, gave up a whole bunch of points as well. Gave up 26.8 points a game. Still went 8-7-1. Titans, of course, went 7-9. 3rd and long, Locker on the draw to McCluster, slips one tackle and surges forward, but he's going to be about 6 yards short, and the Titans will have to punt. Eddie, obviously this is not what Ken Wisenhunt wanted to see. How much do you have to throw out because of the conditions, or does it not matter?
In talking to him, it's not going to matter. He expects execution, He wanted to see exactly what he has in his offense and his defense tonight. And it's the conditions are playing into it because, you can't really judge on a bobbled exchange between quarterback and center because that's a wasted down. So hopefully he can give them another series to see them put a drive together to see what they need to work on consistently.
Kern on to punt. Devontae Adams deep to return again. A knuckler. And it's fumbled again. The football's on the field, and the Titans have got it. Adams, the second-round pick out of Fresno State, fumbles his second punt in a row, and the Titans are going to be in the red zone. Yes, they've got it. The weather taketh away, and now the weather giveth for Tennessee. As you see Xavier Gooden, the second-year man from Missouri, coming away with the football.
Sometimes you got to let that go. Let it go into the end zone. You're at the 10-yard line. The conditions are terrible. You got to let that go. But it paid dividends for the Tennessee Titans. Bodes well for them. They came off the back end of the fumble, and now they're first and goal. Excuse me. First and 10.
First and 10 from the 13-yard line. And so Jake Locker is back on the field. He's going to get more time and see if he can tie this thing up. The Titans are in the Pinnacle scoring zone. Join the Pinnacle team and get exclusive access to Titans perks only at TitansBanking.com. So first and 10 from the 13. Green's in the backfield. That's Nate Washington in motion. Locker hands. Green's got a seam. Green has a Titans touchdown. Sean Green, 13 yards, 1-point game.
The Tennessee Titans going with more of a power run game. Sean Green sees the cutback, coming back to his left. Great job on the backside. The seal off the blocks goes in untouched for the touchdown.
Andy Levitri, the left guard, really sealed off that side of the field. Nice kick out by Michael Ruse. And now Maikon Bonani is on to kick a 33-yard extra point. I know you're a fan. We'll talk about it later.
Yes.
We got plenty of time to address that tonight. It's one of the things they're just trying for 2 weeks. Snap is down and the kick is low and it's no good.
Okay, it's a competitive play.
Well, I mean, you can say it's the distance, but the snap was off target. And that messed up the hold, and now the Titans still trail 7-6. You're watching preseason football, brought to you by Nissan. 4:22 to go in the first. It's a 1-point game after a touchdown run by Sean Green. 7-6 Packers. Titans missed the PAT. Get the Titans 2-pack. We'll get to that in a second. But first, we're going to kick things off. And we've got a new kicker coming on for the Titans. It is the rookie out of Washington, Travis Coons. And the kicking game is completely up for grabs between Coons and Bonani. And that missed PAT, bad hold or not, cannot help Bonani's cause. Another fumble, this one in the end zone, and it's coming out. Across the 20 to the 23-yard line. Get the Titans 2-pack. Choose the NFC or AFC package by calling 615-565-4200 right now. Select the Cowboys, Giants, or the Browns, Steelers to lock in your seats at LP Field. For more info, call 615-565-4200 right now to speak to a ticket rep or online at titansonline.com tickets. 7-6 Packers on top. Matt Flynn still in at quarterback. We've got changes for the Titans on the defensive side of the field, including Sean Phillips, the veteran they brought in from the Denver Broncos, number 58. He's playing an outside linebacker. Flynn on play action. At time over the middle. Moise Foku there to make the tackle. DeJuan Harris with the catch and a short gain, but a lot of time for Matt Flynn. The rain's still coming down, but not quite in the epic flood proportions that it did for the first 10 minutes of this game.
Kind of remind me of the flood that we had here a couple years back.
Well, the fans started lining up 2 by 2. I got a little worried. 2nd and 4. Flynn hands. Another long run by DeJuan Harris. He's across the 40. Phillips gets the tackle, but it's a Green Bay first down. Phillips comes to Tennessee with a lot of sacks on his resume, 79.5 of them, including 10 last year.
Yeah, for Tennessee, yes, they've got to shore up the middle of this defense. I mean, granted, it's the twos, but it's a mindset, it's a philosophy. And if you plan on being a good defense, not great, you have got to stop the run. No one can run on your defense. It has to be from the first team to the second team to whoever is in there.
Harris met in the backfield and dropped. Tommy Campbell was there, so was Zach Brown, and that's going to set up a second down and long. Zach Brown, really a player with something to prove this year.
Yes, he is. You know, he's been here for quite some time with the organization, former first-round pick, second year, and I think it's his time to be that leader on that defense. He has the playmaking ability, but can he be consistent? And I think in this defense, and playing under Coach Ray Horton, defensive coordinator, he can really have a spectacular year.
The second-round pick 2 years ago out of North Carolina. But, yeah, they say playmaker when they see him. Short pass to Harris. Nice hit on the play.
That's it. It's attitude. It's attitude.
Damian Stafford, the second-year man from Nebraska. That's what the NFL wants to see. Knows the numbers, right?
Absolutely. It's a good, clean hit, too.
See what you hit.
Hit what you see. And he does that and explodes through the tackler. And that's what you want. That's the attitude the Titans has to have on every level of their defense and offense.
He's in at a safety replacing Bernard Pollard. George Wilson is in replacing Michael Griffin. Third and long for Flynn. Pressure coming. He escapes Carl Klug, and he's on the run. And Flynn will be down at the 45, and Green Bay will have to punt. Eddie, you talked about that attitude. Ray Horton brings it, and he wants his players to bring it.
That's right. They're starting to get some defensive pressure in the quarterback. Zach Brown coming across the field, forcing him out of bounds, not allowing him to pick up the yards on the first down with his legs. And that's it. We're starting to see that attitude from the Titans that they're talking about having this year. And you know, it takes a little time. You know, get the kinks out of these first preseason game.
Almost blocked. Tim Mistake barely gets it away. Mariani waves everybody off. And the Titans are going to start deep in their own territory. You also saw the great closing speed by Zach Brown on that last play. So Jackie Battle just misses getting a punt, and the Titans have the whole field in front of them. They trail 7-6. You're watching preseason football brought to you by Nissan. 6 remains in the first quarter. Titans trail 7-6, and Jake Locker's only 1 for 2. And Eddie, he's still in the game.
Yeah. Well, you know, we were talking to Ken Wisenhunt this afternoon. He said he wants to get them going to see something out of his offense, and I don't think that one play touchdown is enough for him to see. Hang his hat on.
They hand him a cluster, and he takes it in between the tackles for a short game. Dexter McCluster, just 5'8", 170 pounds. Jake Locker, here is the injury history that everybody talks about. At Washington, fractured ribs and a fractured thumb. But in the NFL, the separated shoulder happened twice in 2012. Then last year, he had the Liz Frank injury that ended the season. And before that, the sprained hip, which also included a sprained knee. He just does not need to take any unnecessary risks or hits. Second down, McCluster again. Look at the little guy battle. Loses his lid, but he's got a first down.
He's small, but he runs big in between the tackles. You got to love his spirit. Runs with passion, keeping his pad level low and his feet moving. And that's what you got to have. I mean, look at him smiling and everything. He knows it's a good run.
I thought you were going to give me some Shakespeare. He is small, but he is mighty.
That was, you wanted to drop that.
And that's going to be the last play of the first quarter. The Titans have a touchdown. It came from Sean Green, a one-play, 13-yard drive, courtesy of number 23. It's 7-6 Green Bay. You're watching preseason football brought to you by Nissan. In Nashville, the Titans trail the Packers 7-6 in the second quarter. Charlie Whitehurst has entered the game for the Titans at quarterback. Also first-round pick Taylor Lewan is in at tackle. Handoff to Bishop Sankey, the second-round pick out of Washington University. Or University of Washington.
Right.
Corey Curtis with Eddie George. it's a tough way to start the preseason. It just is.
It is. I mean, you're in the middle of a monsoon first preseason game. You almost expect you're going to have sloppiness anyway without the rain. But
with perfect conditions.
With perfect conditions. But you add the rain in, you have some fumbles, some missed blocking, some missed tackles, a lot of mistakes. So it's really a tough break for the Titans.
Sankey across the 30-yard line to the 31. We will see a healthy dose of him tonight.
Oh, he's good.
But also the guy we're seeing right now, the two-time Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year, Taylor Lewan, taken 11th overall. Fans necessarily weren't that excited when the pick was made.
Yeah.
But, Eddie, when you can get a left tackle for the next 10 years, take the guy, right?
Yeah, no question about it. I scratched my head when they made that pick, but looking at him and what he brings to the table, not only can he play left tackle, but he can go in the interior.
Yeah, he played some guard in camp.
Given his size, his speed, his athleticism, he can move around interchangeable, much like Bruce Matthews was for us during my time here with the Titans.
3rd and 5, and Whitehurst overshoots Taylor Thompson, and the Titans will have to punt the football. I think it's a little early for the Bruce Matthews comparison.
Yeah, but he's interchangeable. He's interchangeable.
He's very athletic for a left tackle. The ability to play guard in camp when Andy Levitre went down with the appendectomy was very impressive to the coaching staff. I mean, in a short period of time, he's already proven to this organization that talent-wise, he is what they thought he was.
No doubt about it. He looks the part. You don't see a lot of fat on him.
No.
Very lean, athletic. And what I love about him is his nasty attitude. You have to have that attitude in the offensive line. He brings that character to this team.
Brett Kern is back on to punt as the monsoon has returned, and it's a shank. Going to be in Titans territory, it looks like, when they finally mark it, about the 45-yard line. Just when we thought it was starting to slow up, you see it. It is back. Packers 7, Titans 6. This is Titans preseason football brought to you by Nissan. Packers lead 7-6, and they've got the football. Titan fans, the Titans 2-pack is back. You choose between an NFC or AFC option. For more information, call 615-565-4200 right now, or visit titansonline.com/tickets. And with the new zip code entering the area, got to dial that 615, or new area code, excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
You got to dial that old number.
Let's go.
It's at the 50. Flynn drops it, and he's dropped on the play by Akeem Ayers for about a 3-yard loss. And I told you the weather was back. It immediately rears its ugly head.
Typically, you'll see this rain just pass through, but for some strange reason, it's sitting right here. And, it goes both ways for both teams. You're going to see sloppy play, balls all over the ground, missed tackles, and so forth. So you can't really get a true indication of where you're at as a team because of the conditions. That makes it unfortunate.
And if you're a player trying to make an impact, you got to do it in these conditions. But obviously, you'd like to have perfect conditions to try and make yourself seen. Another carry on 2nd down. And it's going to set up a 3rd and long. That looked like Michael Hill, the second-year man out of Missouri Western State. And it's going to be 3rd and long, about 11 for Green Bay. Mike McCarthy, the Packers head coach, an impressive 86-50 record. He joined Mike Holmgren and some guy named Lombardi. The only 2 guys to hoist the trophy for the Packers. 3rd and long. Titans are coming. Short pass is dropped incomplete from Flynn to Gerard Shepard. And the Packers have got a chance, though, to pin the Titans deep, punting from at about the 49-yard line.
Yeah, the conditions make it really tough for even a catchable ball like this to be executed because of it. Clearly, I mean, he was stretched out, but, it was perfect conditions. I think he makes that catch.
Might be a better throw, too.
Yeah.
4th down, Mariani back deep to return one more time. Mistay with another punt. Low wobbler. And that one hits at the 1 and will bounce through, and the Titans will take over 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. They trail 7-6. This is the Titans Preseason Network.
Welcome back to the Titans Preseason Network. The good news, rain starting to stop. Bad news, the Titans trail the Green Bay Packers 7-6 in the second quarter. But more good news, it's time to get you fans at home involved in the broadcast with our Twitter question of the game. And first question of the preseason is, who do you expect from rookies, free agents, doesn't matter, of our new Titans, who do you expect to have the biggest impact this season? Tweet me at Audra_Martin, and we'll have some of your answers coming up later on in the game.
A lot of newcomers. Interesting to debate that one as the game goes on. One of those, Charlie Whitehurst, hands to another, Bishop Sankey. Whitehurst getting his second series. You know, Eddie, this guy's been around a while. It's his 9th year out of Clemson. But he's in his career, he's thrown for 800 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 4 picks. And we've got a lineman down for the Titans. It's veteran Chris Spencer in his 10th year out of Missouri. Looks like he's holding on to a leg there.
And the good thing about having a guy like Charlie Whitehurst on your team is the fact that he comes from San Diego.
Yeah, he knows Ken Wisenhunt. He knows his offense.
He knows his offense. He understands the nuances of it. And, you know, I thought when he was in Seattle he would have a chance to become a star there, but unfortunately they drafted a guy by the name of Russell Wilson. And he went on, you know, to win the Super Bowl and so forth. So, but Charlie's a good backup. He understands the system. He's been around a while, and he's a guy that you can rely on.
Get the Titans 2-pack. Choose the NFC or AFC package by calling 615-565-4200 right now. Select the Cowboys, Giants, or the Browns, Steelers to lock in your seats at LP Field. For more info, call 615-565-4200 right now to speak to a Titans ticket rep or online at titansonline.com/tickets. Whitehurst had 4 starts in Seattle. As you see, Spencer being helped off the field. That is not good news for the start of his season or for the Titans' depth on the defensive line, for that matter. He's a guy who can play center and guard, and he's going to come out of the game. It looks like he's holding up that left leg off the ground as Dr. Burton Elrod is there in the gray jacket, the team orthopedist, coming off the field. Spencer was a first-round pick out of Mississippi. Titans have a lot of first-round picks up on that offensive line.
I like their O-line. I think they have a chance to be one of the best, if not the best, in the league this year.
2nd and 9 for Whitehurst and company. Tight end into the game. That's Jason Shepler. Another hand at Bishop Sankey. He has all sorts of company at the line of scrimmage. Eddie, we're going to see a lot of Bishop Sankey. You know, I call it a gift for the Titans. They get the first running back off the board in the second round. It's almost like having 2 first-round picks.
Absolutely. I mean, he is a guy that played at Washington, had a great career there for 2 years, really developed his in between the tackle running game where he can see with his feet and make guys miss in tight spaces, and he just brings so much to the table in terms of the passing game, run game, blocking, just a complete running back.
3,500 career yards, 37 touchdowns. Whitehurst, short throw to Taylor Thompson, and Thompson is very close to the sticks, and it's going to depend on the spot. I think he's going to be just a little bit short of the first down. You know, last year, Taylor Thompson and Craig Stevens really got lost in this Titans offense, and these guys could reemerge this year. Yeah, he's a yard short almost.
Well, Ken Wisenhunt is an offensive guru, and he understands how to get everybody involved. He likes to do multiple packages, different personnel. Talking about the running back position, Bishop Sankey is going to be one of 3 running backs that will be used throughout the course of this year. You talk about the array of weapons that they have for the Titans. He's figuring out what he has and how he's going to incorporate it throughout the year.
Brett Kern with another punt. And calling for the fair catch is Micah Hyde, and the Packers get the football back. They lead by 1. It's 7-6 Green Bay, 9:59 to go. You're watching the Titans Network, brought to you by Nissan. Curtis with Eddie George. Join the Titans banking team at Pinnacle. Open a Titans checking account and earn $100 and a personalized Titans football. Visit titansbanking.com. Pinnacle, the official bank of Pinnacle Moments. And Green Bay is back on offense, and we've got a new quarterback, it looks like, for the Packers. No, we do not. We still have Matt Flynn. Short run up the middle. Let's go down to the sideline for an injury update with Audra Martin.
Thanks, Corey. Bad news. Chris Spencer is getting taken off the field by cart right now. He had to get helped over to the cart by teammates Michael Roos and Brian Schwenke. It looks like it's a left ankle injury. He tried to put some pressure on it after he first came out. Couldn't put any pressure on it, so he is headed to the locker room.
Thanks, Audra. You hate to guess on injuries, Eddie, but ankle is better than a knee, isn't it?
That's right. Yes, it is.
Nice play at the line of scrimmage. That's the big rookie from Penn State, Eddie. Daquan Jones, 6'4", 322 pounds of humanity.
He could be the steal for the Tennessee Titans. He, like you mentioned, his size, his speed. He's well coached, and he's an athlete doing his moves in the interior line. I mean, he's a good, very good defensive player for Penn State, and he could provide depth here for the Tennessee Titans in the future.
Titans showing blitz. Like Akeem Ayers jumped.
Neutral zone infraction, number 56. Came into the neutral zone, caused an offensive man to false start. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Bill Levy with the call, and that'll make 3rd and 9, 3rd and 4.
You know, what they're coached to do is when they see a defensive player come into the neutral zone, they'll jump automatically now.
So that's a smart play.
It's a very smart play. It's not like they're jumping because they're reacting. They're jumping to get him caught in the neutral zone, get more yards. Very smart heads-up play by the left tackle.
3rd and 4. Should bring up another point of emphasis after this play. Flynn to throw, deep middle, flag on the play, and it's incomplete. Eddie, you think it's another hold?
Oh, absolutely. You're going to see flags all preseason, any game you watch, and this one.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 56, defense. 5-yard penalty, previous spot, automatic first down.
Akeem Ayers with a double dip.
Double dip. Jumped off sides. Holding.
Akeem Ayers also another guy who needs a comeback season. This is not the start he was looking for. I was talking about points of emphasis. They're also going to have points of emphasis on the offensive side of the ball pre-snap. No sudden movements by the center. You know, you see that head snap up?
Right.
There can't be any quick movements like that. And any type of twitch, head bob, hand motion, elbows, tucks like Peyton Manning does, they're going to call all that stuff. You can make no movements to draw the defense off. Flynn completes his pass to Devontae Adams. Eddie, you really like this guy, their 2nd-round pick. He had 131 catches in one season.
He was a grown man at Fresno State. You see here running a basic comeback route, picking up the first down. Devontae Adams has a bright future in this offense for Green Bay.
Gain of 9, 2nd and 1. Harris picking his way for a first down for the Packers. Looked like Marquestin Huff came in there late. Got some extracurriculars after the play, but it's going to be a Green Bay first down. Marquestin Huff is number 28. He is a 4th-round pick for the Titans out of Wyoming. Has played both cornerback and safety in college, and could get that type of look here as well for the Titans. So 1st and 10 on the Titans side of the field. Harris makes another man miss. Flag on the play. He gets across the 30 down to the 29-yard line. Damian Stafford missed badly, but we've got several flags down.
Holding, number 86 offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That's the tight end, Brandon Bostic, who's going to cost his team a big game.
That looked like a good block to me because he had him hemmed up and blocked him to the ground. We'll see here.
And Xavier
Good job. You got to keep your hands inside, and what they're calling in, it looks like, he's trying to turn. He couldn't quite turn his shoulders, so they're going to call that every time.
Another case where the NFL will find you if you have ability. Brandon Bostic went to Newberry, which is a very small school in South Carolina. By the way, in case you haven't noticed, it has stopped raining completely, and there was a standing ovation when the rain stopped. And despite the rain, we didn't have a lot of penalties in this thing early from the starters. 1st and 20 from the 44 now, 7:30 to play in the first half. And Flynn will throw the football. Goes to Bostic. He breaks the tackle. Bostic has a first down and more. Xavier Gooden gets the tackle, but it's about 25 yards for Brandon Bostic. He had 7 catches for 120 yards and a touchdown last year. And shows a little bit of it here.
Akeem Ayers almost tipped the ball, but here it is. First preseason game. You've got to make those open field tackles, or that will be the result of it.
Defensively for the Titans, and it's to be expected in the opener, tackling has not been great.
No. Especially you haven't had a lot of physical practice where you can take guys down live practices.
Flynn goes deep, and it's incomplete, and a flag on the play.
Let's see which way this goes. This will be an interesting call here.
Micah Pellerin got locked up on the play.
Pass interference. Number 11, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's Jarrett Boykin, a third-year man from Virginia Tech, pushing off on Micah Pellerin, defensive back for the Titans, who's fighting for a roster spot and a spot on this team as a backup corner. Take a look at the end of this play.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's ticky-tack. I mean, he just swam over the top of him.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Another point of emphasis, the push-off. First and long. Behind Adams, incomplete. Tommy Campbell on the coverage for Tennessee. You know, last year Tommy Campbell was battling Alteron Werner for a starting spot on this football team. And he has kind of become a forgotten man. He's got something to prove here in this preseason, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. And we're seeing it. Tommy looks a little thinner than he has in the previous years. He was bulky last year, lighter this year.
On 198 pounds.
Yeah.
He's 6'3". Tackle in the backfield by the Titans. Daquan Jones was back there. Also back there was Akeem Smith, a rookie from Louisville, setting up a third and long.
You talk about Tommy Campbell, you know, his fourth year, he has to show and prove, crack the lineup in some way. You see here, Stafford, very physical ball player, puts his nose in there. That's what you want to see at that position, a guy that's going to put it in there, meet the running back head on, and get him for a loss.
That's two nice tackles by Stafford tonight. 3rd and 20. Flynn throws underneath, and it's incomplete. Off the hands of Richard Rodgers, and that will bring up another Green Bay punt. So the Titans will take over the football with just less than 6 minutes to play in the first half. Going to stay on to punt one more time, and Mariani likely not going to get a chance to return this one. A tough night for the return men.
Oh, yeah.
Stay boots it away, aiming for the corner. Gets it out of bounds, and the Titans are going to start inside the 20. But not much. It's like about the 18 or 19-yard line. They trail 7-6. You're watching Titans preseason football. Full night in Music City. Packers lead the Titans 7-6 in the second quarter. Get the Titans 2-pack. Choose the NFC or AFC package by calling 615-565-4200 right now. Select the Cowboys-Giants or the Browns-Steelers to lock in your seats at LP Field. For more info, call 615-565-4200 right now, or to speak to a Titans ticket rep, or go to titansonline.com/tickets. First down for Tennessee, Charlie Whitehurst on play action. Throws out to Jackie Battle, who gets a block, and he's got a first down. Jackie making the transition from running back to fullback, and he's got the size to do it.
He's got the size. I've been a big fan of Jackie Battle since he's been a Titan, and now he's making that transition to fullback, and you'll see the versatility of Jackie. He can get out into space, catch the ball in the flat, and get upfield and run tough. And that's what I love about the array of backs that they have here. They have a tough guy in Jackie Battle who can be a tweener, who can run the football and also be a blocker.
6'2", 240 in his 7th year from Houston. So the Packers with 126 yards tonight. The Titans still sitting on 70, but on the move now with a 1st and 10. Short across the middle to the tight end, Shepler. Mason Shepler, a first-year man out of Northern Illinois. And that'll bring up 2nd down and 6 yards to go. But Battle has moved over from running back to fullback, where he's going to battle with Colin Mooney. Jackie's been a pretty good receiver, especially for a guy of his size. Last season, 36 carries, 142 yards and a touchdown. That happened in the game at Pittsburgh. For his career, he's just over 1,100 yards for 8 touchdowns. He's also a very good special teams player.
Yes, that's where he has added value at that position. Absolutely correct.
Sankey's in the backfield now. And Whitehurst has 3 to his left and 1 to his right. Flags on the play, and
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Delay of game and preseason opener go hand in hand. And 2nd and 6 now turns into 2nd and 11. Byron Stingley's in the game at right tackle for Tennessee. Mark Mariani has entered as a receiver. He's the second from the top of your screen for the Titans. Whitehurst to throw. Steps up, plenty of time for Sankey. Bishop Sankey's close to a first down. And they really like his receiving ability. It's one of the reasons they took him as the first running back off the board.
Yeah, well, you had a couple of choices at that position in the draft. Carlos Hyde was one of those guys, Bishop Sankey, and one of the things that Coach Wisenhunt liked about Sankey was his ability with the ball not in his hand.
He can beat a guy one-on-one.
Beat a guy one-on-one. He understands pass blocking. He comes from a traditional pro-style offense that they ran at Washington. So the transition would be a lot easier for Bishop Sankey.
3rd and short. Battle is the fullback. Sankey gets the football, bounces it, and he's got the first down. Knocked down on the play by Hayward, but it's a first down for Sankey, and the Titans move the chains.
And he looks small in stature, but it's all muscle. The guy runs really well. Look at his feet right here at the line of scrimmage. Goes, bounces out to the, and I like the fact he's looking to get upfield immediately. He could have kept running to the sideline, trying to use his speed, but he's looking to try to beat the guys one-on-one, getting upfield. He has great run instincts.
So Casey Hayward, number 29, third-year man from Vanderbilt, was second on the play to make the tackle. Also in the game for Green Bay on defense is number 57, Jamari Lattimore. He's a fourth-year linebacker from Middle Tennessee. Pass over the middle. Taylor Thompson has it. And that's a nice play on first down, a gain of 7 or 8 yards. Setting up 2nd down and short for Charlie Whitehurst and company.
Like you mentioned, Tyler Thompson didn't get a lot of balls last season. He could be a huge key piece in this offense that you can incorporate a tight end at his size, his speed to get over the middle and short-handed and extends the plays.
2nd and short. Sankey's in the backfield. Play action. Whitehurst going deep middle to Thompson, who drops the football. Oh, he had a chance to make a play and just could not hang on.
The 2-minute warning.
Just as I was bragging on him, he had to go and drop.
Well, you know, he was a defensive end in college, and he's been trying to transition back to tight end in the NFL, and he's got to make those plays. We're at the 2-minute warning. The Titans trail 7-6. You're watching the Titans preseason network. 2 minutes left in the first half in Nashville. The Packers lead the Titans 7-6. The difference, a missed 33-yard PAT by Micon Bonani. And the Titans have a 3rd and short. They're at the Green Bay 48. Charlie Whitehurst still in at quarterback. Justin Hunter still in the game for Tennessee. Now wide receiver. Whitehurst steps up. He's under pressure, and he breaks free. And Charlie makes the pass complete. Bishop Sankey has got a first down and more. Sankey to the 24 for a first down. Eddie, I thought he was throwing it away.
I thought so too, but he saw Bishop Sankey sitting over by the first down marker, and Bishop Sankey showing the hands. And great job by Charlie Whitehurst of extending this play, making it miss, buying time. It looks like he was throwing it away, finds Bishop Sankey, stays in bounds, and picks up the first down. Another big game for the Titans.
Great effort by both Whitehurst and then Sankey to come back to his quarterback. And the Titans are now 1st and 10 from about the 25-yard line, 1:10 and ticking. Whitehurst to throw. Mariani underneath. Little slip screen, but he doesn't slip anywhere. He's down. He's going to lose 1 or 2. 1 minute left in the half, and the Titans will take their first timeout.
Their first 30-second timeout.
And with this new system that Whitehurst is trying to implement on his offense, it's kind of like a hodgepodge of philosophies from New England to San Diego, Pittsburgh. So you're going to have elements of Arizona power running game with wide open attack on 5 wides, different multiple looks, different packages, And it all starts with the quarterback position having that responsibility to being able to put them in and out of good plays.
Now, we've got different players on the field now, but you asked Coach Wisenhunt specifically about his personnel for his system,
yes.
and he likes it.
Oh, yeah, looking at the roster, I think that was a key for him coming here is that he has the components to run what he wants to run with the guys that he has on his roster.
2nd and 12, Whitehurst to throw. Pressure coming, and Whitehurst is sacked on the play. Taken down and dropped for a loss. That's Jarrett
Timeout,
Bush.
Tennessee, their second. 30-second
Ninth-year
timeout.
corner out of Utah State, and the Titans, who were in field goal range, are now looking at a very long field goal at best. At the 35, they're looking at about a 53-yarder. So 3rd and 21, you're talking about giving yourself an opportunity to get 3 points.
Well, I think the call here is to run a draw to try to settle up for a field goal possibly. But you can't give up that sack in this situation.
Now, is that on the line or is that on the quarterback?
Well, I don't know. I have to look at the replay.
All right.
Of course, Lawan is in there. He went to Michigan, so it was on him.
Coming up at the half, interview with Audra Martin and Ken Wisenhunt, and then we'll also have your first half stats and highlights. So we'll see what the Titans, Eddie's calling a draw on 3rd and 21 from the 45. Packers are bringing heat. Whitehurst steps up and throws, and it's dropped on the play. Incomplete. Derek Hagan, the veteran, can't hang on. Let's take a look back at that sack that sets up a 4th and long.
We'll see Green Bay drawing up the blitz. And now, you got to pick and choose. You bring the blitzer, he comes in late. He could have taken Bush, but it still frees up the defensive end, so you got to throw hot off of that.
Well, yeah, there's more guys than there are blockers.
Absolutely.
The quarterback's got to get
hot.
rid of the football. And the Titans will not go for a long field goal. They will punt, and the rain is back. Brett Kern, sky high and really short. But it hits at the 18 and bounces close to the 10. And the Packers are going to take over with 36 seconds to play, deep in their own territory, and considering the rain is back, I would expect a knee or two or a handoff at best at this point.
Yeah, I think that's the best call at this point in time. You want to go in. You don't want to risk a turnover, especially in these conditions. The rain is back. It's still sloppy. Even though it is the preseason, take a couple knees and then take it on in. Get ready for halftime adjustments.
Brett Kern getting looked like an earful on the sideline. Scott Tolzien, the 4th-year man from Wisconsin, has come in at quarterback to take these snaps. A little bit of pressure, sitting at his own 13-yard line in the rain. He's been sitting on the bench the whole time. See what the Packers have lined up. They've got 3 receivers. No, he's going to throw the football. Tolzien steps up. He's going to run. And breaks free for a Packer 1st down across the 25 to the 26. Tommy Campbell gets the tackle.
Timeout, Green Bay.
The Packers will take a timeout with 25 seconds to go.
Timeout.
So with nothing on the line, Mike McCarthy stays aggressive.
With the game clock operator, put 27 seconds on the game clock, please.
So we put 2 seconds back up. Of course, Aaron Rodgers is unquestionably the Packers quarterback. 23,800 yards. Matt Flynn is back up, and then Tolzien, rookie Chase Reddick. Titan fans, the Titans 2-pack is back. You choose between an NFC or AFC option. For more information, call 615-565-4200 right now, or visit titansonline.com/tickets. 27 seconds left, 1st and 10 for the Packers. And Tolzien to throw. Steps up, deep middle, and it's through the receiver's hands. Incomplete. Real opportunity there for Andrew Corliss for a big gain.
Yeah, he was probably expecting the hit, too. He probably felt that safety coming over the top, but he wasn't there. And you could see him just out of his reach. Didn't run through the football. Could have been a big gain for Green Bay had he made the play.
2nd and 10 now from the 22. Or 22 seconds to play, forgive me. They're at the 26-yard line. And Tolzien going to throw it again. slings it out, and it's dropped by the running back, Michael Hill. And the weather, I think, Edward, is getting the best of us.
Yes, it is. It's been that way since the beginning of the game. And, unfortunately, you got to play through these conditions. But for both coaches, it's tough to gauge what you can really do and what you really have because of the sloppy conditions. Balls coming out, fumbles, missed tackles, and so forth. So it's really tough to see what you have if it was perfect conditions.
If you want a positive, the field is taking this rain on like a champ. It still looks great out there.
Oh, it does.
3rd and long, Tolzien to throw. Across the middle, caught, complete, and that's a Packers first down. Moise Foucault is there for the tackle, but Miles White has the first down. Packers take a timeout with 11 seconds to play. And they're going to have to, they've got one play to get into field goal range realistically.
Yeah, they're probably sitting on one timeout. You probably see something, a play close to the sidelines or probably right down the middle of the field.
And then throw for the end zone?
No, or you could throw for the end zone depending on how many yards you get.
You're not going to kick a 50-yarder in this.
I mean, I thought he was going to kneel the ball down at the 10-yard line. I mean, I thought we're talking about halftime at this point. Coach is trying to put points on the board here.
Yeah.
He's like, this is real action. He wants to get as many reps as you can.
Mike McCarthy knows how to put points on the board. Last year, the Packers averaged 400 yards a game, 3rd in the NFL. And they scored 26 points a game, 8th in the NFL. He's scored a lot of points since he took over. Tolzien to throw. He goes to the rookie. That's Devontae Adams. We said they tried to get up to the 50, and they did with 5 seconds to play. So likely the last play of the half, and they're going to have to go. Yeah. And this is one of those times where you look, the points of emphasis on contact and penalties and moving the football.
And keep an eye on Devontae Adams throughout the rest of this evening. He's a 2nd-round draft choice for the Green Bay Packers. Had a fantastic year at Fresno State along with Derek Carr as quarterback. And this kid has a chance to be a superstar in this league given his capabilities and abilities.
Well, Jordy Nelson they just gave big money to, and they've still got Randall Cobb, so they've got players. Pressure coming. Tolzien is dropped and sacked on the play by the Titans.
That's the end of the first half.
That's the rookie, Marquestin Huff, who shot through and made the play and sends us to the half with the Titans trailing 7-6. The Titans bringing the blitz, Eddie.
Titans dialing up the blitz, forcing them to get the ball out quick. Executed. Halftime.
Audra Martin's down on the sideline. She's in the rain, and she's got the head coach. Audra, go ahead.
Okay, Coach, quite the welcoming committee with the rain here. Despite the terrible weather, what were you able to take away from what you saw in your starters tonight?
Well, I have to look at the tape. It was pretty tough. I mean, it was hard to even get the snap, but they hung in there. I think, we missed some opportunities, but they're continuing to battle. Defense started slow, but I thought they recovered well. Offensively, we've had some drops. We had some situations where we can make some plays. We sporadically have run the ball. So, it's a tough conditions, but that's okay. It's a chance for us to work on that.
There's been a lot of questions of what the Titans' run game would look like without Chris Johnson. You get a touchdown from Sean Green, some great stuff from Bishop Sankey. Is this a pretty good indication of where this game on the ground is heading?
Yeah, they're trying to play to stop the run because of the rain and try to make you throw it. So it's been hit or miss with the run game. Don't forget about Dexter. He had a nice little run in there too. So there were some good things in the run game. At least something to build off of.
Good luck in the second half.
Thanks, Audrey.
All right, we'll be back with highlights and more coming up after the break.
Top of the Tennessee Titans, they've got a touchdown run from James Starks. The Titans have one from Sean Green. Having said that, let's look at the Hardee's first half highlights. And the first one, folks, it's got to be Mother Nature. Look at this camera well. I mean, you can drop a line in there and go trout fishing.
Absolutely.
It was a monsoon tonight, but then the defense. Damian Stafford, Eddie.
Damian Stafford laying the boom on the opposing defense. Like you mentioned, Mother Nature has been the antagonist for both teams. A fumble there results into a 15-yard touchdown by Sean Green. Cuts it back against the grain, finds it goes in untouched for the Tennessee Titan touchdown of the night.
A one-play Titans drive that was about 13 yards. Your total yards for the first half, 150 for the Packers and 110 for the Titans. You talked about the weather and the difficulties. The Packers put it on the field 3 times. The Titans only put it on the field once.
And that's good.
And that has to be considered a minor victory. All right, ladies, join the Titans Women's Club, Titan True, to receive exclusive access to special events, and you'll get a welcome pack with ladies' merchandise and other great benefits year-round. So, ladies, sign up today at TitanTrue.com to join the Titans official women's fan club, Titan True. The Titans will receive the football here in the second half after deferring in the first half when they won the toss. Mark Mariani deep to return, and it looks like he's got a shot to bring this one out. Catches it at the 2. Nice penetration by the Packers, and Mariani is going to be dropped. It looked like shy of the 15-yard line. Joe Thomas, a rookie from South Carolina State, making the tackle.
Yeah, Mariani and Leon Washington, the running back for Tennessee Titans, they're both in the battle position to find out who's going to be that return guy and who can add to the offense throughout the course of the season. So it's going to be an interesting battle there to keep your eye on.
Charlie Whitehurst is still the quarterback for the Titans. This could be his last drive. We'll probably see Zach Mettenberger, the rookie from LSU, most of the second half. Sankey is still in the game in the backfield. Michael Preston's in at a receiver. Shepler's in at a tight end. And Whitehurst drops the snap and looks like he falls back on it, so that one fumble number doubles in a hurry.
And you hate to see that. You got to think about the conditions and so forth, but that's a wasted play. That's something that you have to understand, that in these conditions you've got to be able to make the snap. That transition from the center to the quarterback, that exchange is so important, because now you can't evaluate that. That's just bread and butter. You've got to be able to do that in these conditions.
Hagan and Preston are the wide receivers for Whitehurst on second and long. He hands to Bishop Sankey.
I like his feet.
Gets about a yard, setting up 3rd and 10. The rain has slowed to just a normal rain. And, as you can imagine, playing football in the rain is tough. Doing a live broadcast with a lot of cameras can be tough as well. It's affected our satellite signal. And if you see some strange camera vantage points from time to time, we're losing cameras out there. Electricity, electric appliances, and just a downpour of water don't always go hand in hand.
No.
So it's 3rd and long for Whitehurst. See if the Packers bring some heat on this play. They don't. Whitehurst steps up and throws to Mariani, and he's got a first down. Nice route for Mark Mariani, who found the sticks and moves the chains.
Important thing is he did find the sticks. It's typically what you see with young receivers. They'll stop just short of the sticks and get hit and not get the first down. Mariani goes beyond the sticks, comes back toward the football, and picks up the first down.
Has spent the last 2 years on injured reserve.
Yeah, he had a tough time.
2010, he went to the Pro Bowl as a rookie. And then, of course, the horrific broken leg suffered against the Arizona Cardinals and head coach Ken Wisenhunt. And then last year, he hurt his shoulder as he was attempting to come back. May have been the best thing for the leg to get another year off. Another hand to Sankey, and he's not going to get much. Nice open field tackle there for the Packers. Like Richardson, the other Vandy guy with the play. Oh, no, excuse me, it wasn't Richardson. It was number 20, Jamal Roll, who takes him down.
And what Bishop has to understand on this level, if you don't have that Chris Johnson speed before two, you're not going to get to the sideline. You have to get upfield immediately. Even if it means you're going to only get a gain of 3 or 4, but the likelihood of you breaking the tackle and getting upfield is higher than you running toward the sideline. So that's what he has to learn.
2nd and 10. Titans trail 7-6. And Whitehurst hands again to Sankey. He's got all sorts of company, but still surges forward and gets back to the line of scrimmage. Here's the numbers for Bishop Sankey. Titans drafting him in the 2nd round. First running back off the board, 37 career touchdowns. 2nd team All-America last year, 1,870 yards. And the Las Vegas Bowl MVP with 205 yards on the ground.
I had the opportunity to watch him mature through his collegiate career, covering him with Fox and watching the Pac-12. And And he started off as really tentative in his junior year, but really found his rhythm throughout the year, running tough in between the tackles for the Huskies for the last 2 years.
Whitehurst deep middle to Mariani, and it's through his fingertips and incomplete. Just missed a big play. Instead, the Titans will punt the football. Take another look.
Protection is solid as there. He steps up in the pocket, delivers a nice ball over the top. And, you know, you've got to make that play. You've got, on this level, you're open, you get your hands, you touch the football, you've got to come down with it.
So Brett Kern set to punt once again. Another fair catch, this one at the 22, left on the play by Micah Hyde, but quickly picks it up, and the Packers will have the football when we return. You're watching the Titans Preseason Network, brought to you by Nissan. Charlie Whitehurst back to the sideline with the Titans down 7-6. He and Jake Locker talking things over as the Packers have the football. 1st and 10 from the 21-yard line with Scott Tolzien in at quarterback. Tolzien hands. Colin McCarthy misses in the backfield. Rajon Neal, the former Tennessee Volunteer, with the carry. And that will set up 2nd down and long. Eddie, you know, the world of social media is amazing because you get instant response. And apparently we're getting a lot of people who are very jealous of our in-booth waterfall.
Oh, it looks good.
I've never had one in all the years we've been doing this. Tolzien throws deep middle, caught on the play. Nice hit in the secondary, but that is a Packers 1st down. That's Khalid Wooten, 2nd-year man, with the big hit.
He's going to have to learn how to wrap up. That's a good hit. Initial contact got him down, but he's got to learn to wrap up.
Chris Harper with the 1st down. Another hand. Rajon Neal. Neal has a 1st down and more. Runs over Wooten for about 15 yards. 5'11", 220. Rajon Neal. Always good to see the local guys coming back. They got 4 Tennessee guys.
Yeah.
Lattimore, Richardson, Casey. 4 guys from the state of Tennessee. And now Rajon Neal. Play action. Tolzien drops the football. What is that? Pretty sure that's not legal.
Oh, wow. Apparently it is.
Is there no flag on that?
Oh, man. He takes the bootleg. Clearly a fumble. That's great. Holds him from getting the fumble, man. And
Brandon Copeland. Brandon Copeland got held up by a quarterback.
Yeah, I know.
6'1", 250, or 6'3", 260, and he got held up by Scott Tolzien. Tolzien back to throw. Oh, he's got a man. That's Harper again. Long game. And Huff takes him out of bounds. Harper is a big receiver. 6'1", 228. He kind of has that Anquan Bolden built to him.
And speed. Not very fast, but apparently got open. It looks like a busted coverage by the Titans. Finds him on the corner route for a big gain.
So Tolzien shakes off a near disaster and completes a long one to Chris Harper. So it's 1st and 10, and they're just outside the 20-yard line. Hands to Neal. Colin McCarthy misses, and Neal's got another nice game.
The Packers are doing a nice job of sealing off the outside runs. I mean, Neal is doing a good job of pressing it, but the offensive line for the Packers versus the Tennessee Titans defensive front definitely creating a lot of holes to that left side. You see the right side.
For Neal, 2,100 career yards at Tennessee. And boy, Colin McCarthy is down. And I was just going to bring him up, Eddie. Here's a guy who a couple of years ago was a Titans defensive captain, and now he's battling for a roster spot. He's down. We'll take a break. The Titans trail 7-6. You're watching the Titans Preseason Network, brought to you by Nissan. 30 to play in the 3rd quarter in Nashville. Corey Curtis and Eddie George at LP Field with the Titans trailing 7-6. Get the Titans 2-pack. Call 615-565-4200. That's the AFC or NFC package. Select the Cowboys, Giants, or the Browns, Steelers to lock in your seats at LP Field. For more info, call 615-565-4200 right now to speak to a Titans ticket rep or online at titansonline.com/tickets. Here's the injury to McCarthy as he's chasing down Neal. It looks upper body, Eddie, but it's kind of tough to tell.
Definitely tough to tell, and you hate to speculate in these situations on injuries, but it looks like something about, with his left arm landed on him awkward, and you just hate to see that for Colin because he's been working his tail off the last couple of years. Now he's fighting the roster spot, and hopefully he's not serious.
Second and short, Neal still in the backfield, and Tolzien is going to have to take a timeout. Packers are almost to the Titans' 10-yard line. McCarthy wants to see some more points on the board. Don't forget, you can still tweet Audra Martin. Her Twitter question was, which Titans newcomer do you think will have the biggest impact this season? Eddie, you want to take a stab at that one right now?
I'm going to say it is Bishop Sankey.
I see him right there.
Bishop Sankey.
Yeah?
I like him. I like what he brings to the table. Great work ethic. He's going to be a good runner, has great instincts, and for the packages that Wisdom has for his running backs, he's going to thrive.
Second and short. Tolzien hands to Neal. Gets by Ayers. He's to the goal line.
Good tough run.
Rajon Neal is in for a touchdown.
That's how you score. You put your head down at the goal line, pad level down, you punish the defender. Great job. Soft on the outside on the edge. Imposes his will to get in for the score.
Micah Pellerin didn't stand a chance.
No.
32 just got bounced. He's 6 foot 192, where Rajon Neal comes in at 220 pounds, and he used it.
Yes, he did. But for the Tennessee Titan defense, they've been soft on the edges all night long, and that could be due to the transition again of going from a 4-3 to a 3-4 defense and responsibilities and so forth. So we'll have to wait and see, but that has to be an issue that needs to be corrected for the first team as well as the second team and third team players.
They're confirming the touchdown still to make sure he got in. I also should point out that this year replay, everything will be replayed in New York as well, and they will have access to all replays. As soon as the referee gets to the sideline, the people in New York will have the play queued up for them. They will have had several looks. There are 2 officials in New York who then can confer with the game official and another official in the stadium. So there will be 3 people talking about it each replay, and they hope it can speed things up. 13-6, Packers on top. You're watching the Titans Preseason Network. Well, for now, it's 13-6, Green Bay on top of Tennessee with 7:59 remaining in the third quarter. The touchdown is being reviewed to make sure Rajon Neal did get in, capping a 7-play, 79-yard drive. Neal had 4 carries for 35 yards on the drive, but it looks like that drive is not over.
Interesting. What did they see that we didn't? I thought it was in.
Well, evidently he is down or out of bounds at the 2-yard line. So it's going to be first and goal for the Packers at the 2. And there we go. The score's been corrected from 13-7. I mean, that's a big difference. 2 yards.
It is. Yeah, it is.
He must have jabbed the sideline with his foot. See if we can get another look at it a little bit later.
Yeah.
So first and goal, Tolzien with 1 man in the backfield. He's going to throw it. Oh, he's got him wide open, and it is incomplete. Oh, boy. Chris Harper was by himself. It was a busted coverage for the Titans.
Okay, so you said that the replay, they look at this in New York, so let's see what they saw. They didn't see on the touchdown. Well,
you know what? That was a 2-point conversion.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because when you go for 2, they go from the 2.
Right.
So forgive me, they didn't confirm the touchdown. They just moved the ball down to the 2 because the Packers wanted to go for 2 to make it a 2-possession lead.
I got you.
and it's an incomplete pass, and so it is still 13-6.
I was curious. I said both feet were in, across the goal
Well, they
line.
reviewed it forever,
Yeah.
and then they never confirmed to the crowd that the touchdown was good.
Or verbally.
Yeah, never verbally confirmed that the touchdown had been confirmed in New York. And so instead, and the reason we talked about experimenting with the PAT from the 15, 2-point conversions will still be moved up. You won't have to do a 2-pointer from the 15.
Right.
And so that is what happened. Preseason for everybody.
That's why we have it. Work out the kinks.
7:54 to play, and it is 13-6 Packers. Mariani, about 7 yards deep, drops the football, so he'll take a knee. Good decision by Mark not to press a bad situation. Charlie Whitehurst is still in the game for the Titans. So is first-round pick Taylor Lewan, who is playing left tackle tonight. As I said before, the two-time Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year, 6'7", 309 pounds. Kid from Arizona, who goes to Michigan.
He looks lean. Poor choice in going to school, but he looks.
You're not
he looks the
biased
part
at all.
He looks the part.
He does look the part. A pretty engaging young man as well. Sankey tripped up for about a 2-yard gain. And so that'll bring up second down and long for Tennessee. Ryan Rabisky has come into the game as a wide receiver for the Titans. He wears number 17. He and Derek Hagan are a couple of veterans they've brought in to compete because they're looking for 4, 5, 6, depending on how many they carry at that spot. So Whitehurst on second and long. Play action. He was looking for Taylor Thompson. Instead, he's going to run for the sideline, and he's knocked out of bounds. And
That's close.
no flag on that play.
That's close. Surprised a penalty flag wasn't thrown there.
Ryan White, a rookie from Auburn, with a late shove. Camera guy got more than an eyeful on this one.
Yeah, he's getting a little bit of the action. So Whitehurst clearly showing he's going out of bounds, gives up, and hello, good morning.
You know, Charlie's not a small guy, 6'5", 226.
He got tumbled too. Yeah.
So it's third down and 7 to go for Tennessee. Whitehurst to throw, gets a block from Bishop Sankey. He's got the first down stick in sight, and he's got it for a first down. We've seen Whitehurst effectively stretch plays with his feet, and that time finds the marker.
And what gives him an advantage is the fact that he's played in this offense the last couple of years under Wisenhunt, the offensive coordinator at San Diego, so he knows what to look for. He knows his progressions, and he has that internal clock within this offense, and it's showing here in this drive.
Charlie's dad, David Whitehurst, played quarterback for the Packers from 1977 to 1983. Handoff again. Looks like Sankey going to get a couple of bit more. So Whitehurst grew up with a Packers background. His dad, David, passed for 6,200 yards with Green Bay. And that was a long time ago.
I thought Charlie Whitehurst a few seasons ago when he was at Seattle had a chance to be a...
Well, they brought him in to be the starter.
To be the starter, right. And then they drafted Russell Wilson, and the rest is history. And now he's landed here in Tennessee as the backup to Jake Locker.
2nd and 7. He's going deep for Michael Preston. Preston makes a great play on the football. We got flags all over the place. And that looks like it's going to be a Titans first down. Get the call from Bill Levy.
This mic's not working.
The rain is affecting everyone.
Yeah, clearly Goodson did not look back toward the football to make a play on it. He tries to extend the arm out like he didn't do anything. Didn't pay off for him, didn't sell it good enough, and clearly it was a pass interference.
Michael Preston, 6'5", 213 pounds, out of Heidelberg, Last year had a big game against the Arizona Cardinals with 2 touchdowns, and he's a guy who has just continued to work off the practice squad and is really getting his body right. And he's competing for that 4th, 5th, or 6th wide receiver spot. Whitehurst to throw. Taylor Thompson's open, and he's got a first time. And this time Taylor Thompson hauls it in.
I've been very impressed with Taylor Thompson tonight. He made some big catches. Had a missed opportunity earlier on, but he's been very consistent and feels very comfortable with Charlie Whitehurst going to him, running the corner route wide open, makes the play. And they can get him more involved in this offense, along with the other weapons that they have at the wide receiver position, at Nate Washington and Kendall Wright, and they have the running backs and so forth. This could be a very potent offense, and it all comes down to the quarterback position of him distributing the ball to these guys.
6'6", he's an awfully big target. Sankey gets the carry on first down. Nice seam over left tackle, runs over a tackler, and he is close to a first down. Good aggressive run by Bishop Sankey.
And don't let the size fool you. This kid runs tough in between the tackles. He can take a pounding. Had over 1,800 yards last season for Washington, the University of Washington. And what you have to love about him is that yards after contact. It didn't look pretty from at this vantage point, but down there on the field, he got a 2-3 extra yards after contact, and that's what you expect to see him. He's going to be an outstanding running back at this level, continuing to run like that.
Had 26 reps at 225 at the combine.
Strong kid.
I know that's not everything, but it's also just an indication of how strong he is. And he's got the first down and more inside the 10. The Titans are in the Pinnacle scoring zone. Join the Pinnacle team and get exclusive access to Titans perks only at titansbanking.com. Eddie, how many times did you throw up 225 at the combine?
Oh, it was eons ago. I didn't lift at the combine.
No, you didn't?
Yeah.
You just said take a look?
Well, I had my own.
I'm big. I'm large.
Condition my own performance day at Ohio State. I think I did about 25, 26.
And you just stopped because you were bored?
Yeah. I mean, enough. We know that I'm strong. We know that.
They weren't impressed with my 1 rep. Sankey down to the 5, pushing the pile forward. He's out there for that Titans offensive line right now. Looks like Eric Olson, number 66, a newcomer for them, a 3rd-year guy out of Notre Dame. And Taylor Lewan is still out there. Byron Stingley's in at a tackle. Gabe Eichert, a rookie, is in at center right now for Tennessee.
And what you want to see out of a young running back, if he can truly bite, and if he can truly play at this level, is his ability to move the pile. And Bishop Sankey is showing that. And I think they're going to test and see what this kid is made of, because I think he's going to get the ball again in this situation.
Interesting to see if they go behind the first-round pick. Lewan lined up at left tackle. Sankey still in the backfield, but Whitehurst needs a timeout. Wisenhunt was down at the 12-yard line. So we'll take a break. 2:41 to play in the 3rd. Titans trail by 7. You're watching preseason football.
Preseason football. Packers lead the Titans 13-6. Now, earlier in the game, we asked you, who do you think of all these new Titans, who do you expect to have the biggest impact on the team? And we looked at my Twitter responses, and here are some of the answers that we had. First up, Kinfield says Avery Williamson, of course. Not surprised by that answer. He is a local kid just from right down the street in Milan, Tennessee. Next answer, and okay, let's continue. We're going to go ahead. Dexter McCluster, we love him. That's from Hot Diamonds. And Bishop Sankey, as the Titans just missed the opportunity to score a touchdown. But that last answer, Bishop Sankey, seems to be the most popular answer of the night. Corey?
Thank you, Audra. That was Mark Mariani, who had a golden opportunity. That's a tough catch, Eddie.
Tough catch.
But still one you want to see him make.
On this level, you make that catch. The great ones make that catch. And look at Bishop Sankey on the backside. Bits pickup does a nice job giving them time. Mariani had the ball in his hand. Granted, it's wet, but you're still trying to make the team. You got to make that catch.
So it sets up 3rd and goal for the Titans. Whitehurst to throw, right side, Sankey wide open, and he is in for a Titans touchdown. Bishop Sankey, his first NFL touchdown.
It's got to feel good for the young man, showing that he can run the football, he can block, but he can also catch it out in the flat, catchable ball, and that's what the coaching staff here for the Titans love about this kid. He's so versatile. He can be an asset in the passing game, catching the ball in the flat. Bishop Sankey, first touchdown of his career. Congratulations.
He has been what the Titans have said he is tonight. So Travis Coons, the rookie from Washington, is on to kick the PAT. Yes, it is a 33-yard PAT for the first 2 weeks, and this kick is up. It's low, and this one is good. And just like that, we are tied 13-13. Whitehurst to Sankey. 13-13. The Titans have tied things up against the Green Bay Packers at LP Field. 2:32 to go in the quarter. A 10-play, 80-yard drive capped off by Whitehurst to Sankey. It was an effective drive for the second-round pick from Washington. 37 on the ground, 38 through the air. And the Titans have to be thrilled with what they've seen from number 20 tonight.
No doubt. He's been consistent since he came in. Got drafted, OTAs, throughout the preseason drills, and here tonight, first preseason game. He's been absolutely fantastic.
Looks like Charlie Whitehurst is done, and we'll see Zach Mettenberger on the Titans' next offensive drive. Another kickoff for the Titans and another return for the Green Bay Packers. Get the Titans 2-pack. Choose the NFC or AFC package by calling 615-565-4200 right now. Select the Cowboys-Giants or the Browns-Steelers to lock in your seats at LP Field. For more info, call 615-565-4200 right now to speak to a Titans ticket rep or online at titansonline.com/tickets. Tolzien still the quarterback for Green Bay. A handoff on first down. It looks like Harris is back in the game at running back. Saw a healthy dose of Rajon Neal on the last drive. That was, that's Ladarius Perkins, 36, not number 26. He is a rookie from Mississippi State. Oh, nice pass by Tolzien, and that's a first down. Alex Gillette, in his first year from Eastern Michigan, moving the chains.
Nice ball to get it in that tight window. Was almost tipped by one of the Tennessee Titan defenders, and it's a great job by squeezing that ball in there for a big first down.
So Tolzien trying to warm things up for himself. 1:30 to play in the third. He hands to Perkins. Perkins taken down at the sideline. Nice pursuit by the Titans defense. David Hines, a linebacker in his first year from Florida Atlantic. We are hitting the bottom of the depth chart. 90 men on the roster right now, Eddie. 90. On the 26th, they go down to 75. And on the 30th, we get down to 53. Second, short pass. Nice play by the Titans defense to wrap that thing up as Kevin Dorsey is dropped for a minimal gain.
And we're seeing the Green Bay Packers go to their no-huddle offense, that up-tempo offense. We're going to see a lot of offenses this season in the NFL from team to team have a version of this. They're preaching to get a lot of plays off, more plays, trying to wear down the defense, and I kind of like it because it speeds up the game.
Third down, 5 to go. Tolzien to throw. Titans bringing some extra men. The pass is caught. First down, Packers. Rashard Anderson made the tackle for the Titans, but that's going to move the chains as Kevin Dorsey catches the ball from Tolzien.
Scott Tolzien out of Wisconsin, fourth-year veteran, putting together a nice drive with short passes and just eating up the Titans secondary right now.
Tolzien to throw again. There's it outside, and it's incomplete. Now, last year, Aaron Rodgers missed 7 games with a fractured collarbone.
Yeah.
Tolzien did play. He threw for 717 yards, a touchdown, and 5 interceptions. And that's when they brought Matt Flynn back. They signed him and they played him. And while he struggled at other venues like Oakland and Seattle, he came back to Green Bay and just lit it up again.
It's the system. It's got to be the system, right?
There's something they got working. Another pass to Dorsey. He's got the catch. And Rashard Anderson makes the tackle this time. It's going to set up third down, but that is the end of the third quarter. It's the preseason, and we head to the fourth quarter tied at 13. You're watching the preseason football on the Titans Network, brought to you by Nissan. Titans and Packers tied at 13. Let's get down to the sideline with Audra Martin.
Thanks, Corey. I'm here with Dexter McCluster. Dexter, such a nice and welcoming committee we brought to you. How does it feel to get out in these conditions, first time in a Titans uniform?
Oh man, first and foremost, it feels good to be here in the LP field. You feel like a kid again, back in Pop Warner. You're out here in the rain, just having fun. I think everybody's competing and having a good time.
I know you said you really looking forward to having more responsibilities, more carries, in the run game than you've had in the last couple of seasons. Was it nice to get out there tonight, have a couple great runs despite this terrible weather? Yeah,
it was a great feeling getting back there, the running back again. I can't wait to get to my house and call my dad and let him know, I still got it, So it was just fun to know that the coaches have a lot of faith in me and the opportunity is there, so I'm going to take full advantage of it.
And how nice is it to have other guys supporting the game? Sean Green, Bishop Sankey, all of you guys coming together tonight to have a good first outing here at LP Field.
Yeah, one thing that we said as a group, we want to be the ones that make the plays. We want to be the ones that when something has to be done, let's go out there and do it. I think that's going to make us special this year.
Well, welcome to Tennessee.
All right, thank you.
All right, Corey, back to you.
Thank you, Audra, and thank you to Dexter McCluster. And the Titans are going to get the football back after a drop pass by Chris Harper on fourth down. Here are some of the notable signees by the Titans. McCluster expected to add a facet to the offense. Sean Phillips bringing a ton of sacks with him. Al Woods, a defensive lineman, comes over from Pittsburgh. Big Michael Orr, you know him from Blindside fame, a first-round pick out of Mississippi, spent a few years in Baltimore, now a Titan. Charlie Whitehurst comes with Ken Wisenhunt from San Diego, and Wesley Woodyard, former Kentucky Wildcat, a six-time captain with the Denver Broncos.
Six-time captain.
Six-time captain now with the Tennessee Titans. And, you bring in Phillips and you bring in Woodyard from the Broncos. And it's bringing in experience. It's bringing in guys who are experienced at winning.
That's right. And it changes the culture here at Tennessee from hoping to go to the playoffs to expecting to go to the playoffs. And talk about, some of the guys that they brought in, Dexter McCluster. He's going to be a huge asset to this offense because not only can he play running back, you put him in the slot, you get matchups, and he's going to pay dividends later on in the year from playing multiple positions. I really like what Wisenhunt has on his roster and how he's going to utilize them for this season.
Zach Mettenberger in at quarterback, and he will throw on second down, tucks it and goes, and Zach slides short of the first down. Zach's only about 6 months removed.
That's amazing.
That's what Coach said.
6 months. He did this back in January. Off of the ACL injury.
And so they're very impressed with his comeback from that injury.
Listen, when he was at LSU, they put up big-time numbers in the passing game last season.
First quarterback in LSU history to go 2,500 yards back-to-back season. In that school's history with their football, that's pretty amazing.
That's pretty amazing.
Mettenberger facing a third and short with no backs. Quick hitter. And it's caught for a first down. We got flags on the play, though. Isaiah Williams makes a catch in tight quarters for a first down, but we've got to see what the call is.
Prior to the pass, holding the 28 defense. Penalties decline, first down.
So Sean Richardson gets called for a hold, but Isaiah Williams gets a hearty congratulations from Sean Jefferson on the sidelines.
And Mettenberger is a project in progress right now. They're working on his mechanics and so forth, but the one thing that stands out is what? His arm.
Big arm.
Yep. Big time arm.
And is a big guy, 6'5", 224 pounds. So it may take a few years, but they like his upside.
I like it too.
Mettenberger deep in the pocket, steps up and throws, incomplete. That'll set up second down for Tennessee. Charlie Whitehurst finishes 10 of 15 for 94 yards and a touchdown. I think there were a lot of Titan fans who looked at Charlie Whitehurst's numbers in his career because there weren't a lot of opportunities. And there was some trepidation. I think he acquitted himself pretty well here, especially with the conditions tonight.
Yes, he has. Put together some really nice drives. Found Taylor Thompson, the tight end, a few times, one of his favorite targets. And
his receivers could have made some bigger plays for him as well.
Yeah, but he put together, he understands the offense and the nuances that go along with the Wisenhunt philosophy.
Mettenberger slides past a rusher and goes deep to the end zone. Michael Preston is there but can't haul it in. It's incomplete, bringing up third down. looks like Mettenberger, he's faced some heat the last couple plays, has shown some pretty good poise in the pocket.
Poise, great pocket presence, and he extends the play just enough. He's not going to be like Jake where he's going to run for a first down or run for a ton of yards in this league. He just does enough to extend the play, and that's what you want in a quarterback. I mean, this kid has the tools and the moxie to really build on and have a very successful career in the field once he gets his opportunity.
Dimitri Goodson broke up that pass attempt to Preston. Third down, Mettenberger hit and fumbles the football. It's on the field, and the Packers have a chance at it, and now it looks like they've got it. Jamal Roll was first on it. He couldn't get it, and then it looked like Kyrie Thornton got it, but we're going to have to unpile it to see who's got the football. And the referee says it's Green Bay football on the Titans' 40-yard line. So Zach Mettenberger turns it over, and the Packers are in business. We're tied at 13. You're watching Titans preseason football, brought to you by Nissan. ENT quarterback comparison tonight. We'll go with Scott Tolzien and Charlie Whitehurst, 124 and 94 yards. 8 for 12 and 10 for 15. Pretty similar numbers. For a couple of guys who'll be backing up this season, Tolzien number 3, Whitehurst number 2.
Yeah, you got to have two quarterbacks. I mean, they go down quite frequently in this league nowadays, and you got to have two guys you can rely on.
So Chase Reddick is in at quarterback, and he is going to be dropped. Reddick, a rookie from Boston College, was smothered on the play and dropped for a short loss at Boston College. 8,200 career yards, 52 touchdowns. That's not shabby.
Nah, and he was one of the bright spots for Boston College last season, along with the running back Andre Williams, who had
a couple thousand yards.
Yeah.
So it's second, and we'll call it a long 10. Reddick hands to Rajon Neal. Neal shakes a tackle for a few yards.
Rajon Neal showing some toughness, refusing to go down. Great balance, making the first guy miss. He's done that a couple times tonight, making the first initial tackle and miss and churning out the yards. And I really like what I see out of him.
Eddie Lacy did not play tonight.
Yeah.
Starks looked very good for them early as they ran the ball very effectively. Since then, Neal has been their best looking running back.
Yes, he has, and he's been very effective. And if it's not going to be at Green Bay, it could be somewhere else he can land a spot. So we'll see.
Third and long. Reddick to throw. Pressure's on and sacked on the play. LeVar Edwards, another Bayou Bengal, forces the punt.
That's right, LeVar Edwards coming off the edge. They've been getting some pressure on the quarterback all night. Comes underneath, doesn't give up, gets the sack. Using nothing but speed and his power.
Yeah, he is a forgotten guy right now when you talk about all these defensive linemen. Titans used a draft pick on him last year. Second year from LSU. Comes up with a sack tonight to force a punt. That's a big play. We got 10 minutes left to play in the football game, and we're tied at 13. A wobbly kick for Mariani, who's calling for a fair catch, but it hits at the 11 and goes down inside the 10. 13-13 is the score in Nashville. You're watching Titans preseason football, brought to you by Nissan. 9:43 to play at LP Field. Titans and Packers tied at 13. Eddie, it's time for the drive of the game, brought to you by your selected Chevy dealer, and it was heavy on a guy named Bishop Sankey.
Bishop Sankey taking it to the outside, and Bishop Sankey taking it up the gut, running hard, running tough, and it's Mr. Sankey in the passing game on the flat route for his first NFL touchdown.
That has us all tied at 13-13, and the Titans are faced with 1st and 10 and with all sorts of real estate in front of Zach Mettenberger and company. Mettenberger hands, and this is going to be a short game. And that's Antonio Andrews, a free agent rookie out of Western Kentucky, put up just prolific numbers there. A local guy from Fort Campbell, Kentucky, was a huge part of a state championship football team. I mean, this was a guy who never left the field, played quarterback, played defense, returned kicks, returned punts, and
Mr. Everything.
Mr. Everything, but just couldn't get a look from the huge schools and wound up going to Western Kentucky and wound up putting up ridiculous numbers. Mettenberger throws to Colin Mooney, and the lieutenant has a short gain.
You talk about those surprise picks, those diamonds in the rough every year, undrafted free agents, undrafted rookies.
Prior to the pass, illegal use of hands to the face, number 97 defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
And that is another rule change, Eddie. Before it had to be a prolonged push to the face or mask area. Now if you take any type of shot to the head or the face mask, any type of move that jars the offensive or defensive lineman, it's going to be illegal hands to the face.
Well, just finishing my thought on Andrews, I mean, he could be one of those guys. I mean, that's been talking about the facility. Among the coaching staff, the teammates, they feel like he could be one of those players that if it's not here at the Tennessee Titans, he can make a roster and be effective on somebody's team.
5'10", 225 pounds. They threw a memorable halfback option pass to beat the Kentucky Wildcats.
Oh, man.
I think that was in Lexington. Mettenberger throws. It's up in the air and picked off on the play. Jackie Battle could not hang on, and the Packers have got the football. Corey Jones inside the 10. We talked about Battle's receiving skills. He battles that one.
The ball is wet.
It's not that wet.
Nah, you can't have that. I mean, when the ball goes up in the air on this level, it's almost a guarantee it's going to get picked off. Jackie Battle running.
There is no foul on the play.
Running his route.
He turned his head upfield before catching the football.
Yeah, hit his shoulder pads. And the ball's deflected, and it gets picked off.
And so the Packers have got the football, and they are in the red zone. Looks like about the 12-yard line. Chase Reddick is still the quarterback. And the Titans defense needs to stop. The Cheddarheads who are here are making themselves heard.
And they're traveling to a preseason game at Tennessee. It's pretty remarkable in terms of your fan base.
And the Nashville Chamber of Commerce thanks them for their patronage.
Yeah, come on through.
You know, it's one of the great things you see with the older teams in the NFL.
Yes.
It's much like college football where they get a good travel base behind them. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the Green Bay Packers, the Chicago Bears. You see a heavy flow of road traffic from those teams. Another carry up the middle. That's Ladarius Perkins on first down. Reddick still in at quarterback. He gets it down to the 10-yard line. A couple of cheeseheads there. Sporting their Clay Matthews gear.
They are pumped. I mean, gosh, first preseason game, make a road trip to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Country music.
Chance to meet Eddie George. Second down. There's a lot to do here. Let's face it, you go to a game and you can do so much more. It's another hand to Perkins. Stiff arm on Huff, but he's got no place to go. You know, Huff took the stiff arm, but he also stood his ground, Eddie, and he got some help.
Yes, he did. Yes, he got a lot of help. Akeem Smith coming up from the strong safety position and just laying the wood to him.
So that's a big loss. Call it 4 yards from the 10 back to the 14. Bernard Pollard just trying to motivate.
And Bernard's become more of a vocal leader the past year. Yes,
unquestionably.
He's a leader now.
He came back. His contract was up after last season, and he believed in this situation enough to come back. Third down to the end zone, incomplete. Reddick overshooting Justin Perillo, a tight end. So the Packers are going to have a shot at a field goal and a lead. Mason Crosby, a veteran kicker. Pretty good career.
And kicking a field goal in this situation for the Tennessee Titans is a definite win. I mean, it's not a guarantee, but considering where they were, you know, having a chance to not go down by a touchdown is a good situation here.
And when you consider the rain we've had, he has a remarkable field to kick on. Snap is good, the hold is down, and the kick is up, and it is good. The Packers turn the turnover into points, and they've got a 16-13 lead. You're watching the Titans Preseason Network, brought to you by Nissan.
Back to Titans preseason football. The Titans and Packers trail 16-13 to Green Bay. Now, making your NFL debut is exciting enough, but imagine if the night you make your debut, your identical twin brother also makes his debut on the team that you're playing. And that is exactly what's happening here tonight with Titans guard Justin McCray and Packers guard Jordan McCray. The two identical twins played with each other at UCF the last 4 years. Now here they are making their debut. And what's really great is these two twins hadn't spent much time apart ever in their whole lives. In fact, the first time they actually spent time apart was when Justin had a visit with the Green Bay Packers before the draft. Ironically, it's Jordan who ended up with the Packers. And Corey, you can imagine that meant that there was a pretty special reunion here at LP Field earlier today.
Yeah, thank you, Audra. I think they had about 15, 20 family members come up from Florida.
Wow.
And I guess the Packers, they saw what the one twin could do, and when they couldn't get him, they took the other because they got the same thing.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
But, you talk about the chances of something happening, and that's a pretty cool story that got to happen here tonight. You saw Mark Mariani have to take a knee in the end zone, and the game clock has somehow hit 0.
Maybe they want it over, I guess. I haven't seen enough.
So we've got some stuff to work out. All right, there we go. 6:59 to play, and Zach Mettenberger is your quarterback. Titans trail 16-13. Corey Curtis with Eddie George. Titans have got some work to do if they're going to get out of here with a victory. They're 22-8 all time in this building in the preseason. Michael Preston with the catch on first down, setting up a 2nd and short. This is the 16th season of LP Field, Eddie George. Can you believe it? You were here for the first one.
I know. It's 16 years. My gosh, it goes by fast.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. I mean, you still think of this as a new franchise or a new city franchise. 16 years. Mettenberger to throw. He's got a tight end open. That's Shepler. No, it's not Shepler. That's Chase Kaufman. Just signed him days ago. Oh, man. He's got a first down.
Yes.
Nice strike by Mettenberger to Kaufman, and the Titans are in Green Bay territory. Another deep throw. Brian Robisky, the former Buckeye,
Ohio State University,
has the Titans into the Pinnacle scoring zone.
And this is the great protection here by Tennessee. And Mettenberger strikes it, and I tell you what, Mettenberger can strike that ball in any situation, any window.
The Titans are in the Pinnacle scoring zone. Join the Pinnacle team and get exclusive access to Titans perks only at TitansBanking.com. Handoff on that play. Eddie, that catch Robisky just made is the catch that Taylor Thompson had an opportunity to make and Mark Mariani had an opportunity to make earlier in the game, and you see the difference.
And there's no excuses. Same ball, same conditions. It's not raining as much, but you're making those plays. And Mettenberger, again, that ball was beautifully thrown right where it needed to be, and that's what you can expect out of him. That's the flashes that he shows at that position, that he could truly be a superstar in this league.
Brian Robisky was a second-round pick. Hasn't quite panned out for him on a big-time level. Jackie Battle with the carry. And the battling ram is in for a Titans touchdown. Jackie Battle scores, and Tennessee takes the lead.
And the array of weapons that Bridgerton has at his disposal. Jackie Battle takes it to the right sideline. We'll see here on the replay. It's a tall sweep to the right in a bunch formation. He goes pretty much untouched, finds the lane. Frontside blocking was outstanding. Backside blocking, Lawan on the backside. And I tell you what, Lawan blocking, protecting Mettenberger throughout this entire drive, it was magnificent.
I'll tell you what, Robisky made the great catch, and he had the block at the point of attack to spring the touchdown. And so the Titans are on top 19-16, and a very big PAT coming up from Maikon Binoni. And this one is up, and this one is good. And the Titans get a 5-play, 80-yard drive to take a 20-16 lead. You're watching the Titans Preseason Network, brought to you by Nissan. At LP Field, Jackie Battle has a touchdown, and the Titans have the lead with 5:02 to play. And the Titans have got a lead that they've got to protect now. And Eddie, I'll tell you what, when Jackie Battle turns that corner,
ooh, nobody wants to see that.
it's over.
Nobody wants to see that. He gets downhill on you. Battle is a battling ram, and his versatility, the ability to run the football, also play fullback and block, and come out the backfield and catch for you. Again, he's in this another great weapon to have, who can be valuable in special teams as well.
Travis Coons with the kick, 4 or 5 yards deep, and it's coming out. Across the 20 to the 22, and we got a flag on the play. Bernard Pollard just screeching up and down the sideline, shouting at that Titans defense and special teams unit. Rajon Neal had the return.
And that's what you love to see. The veterans are still engaged in the game.
Holding, number 19 receiving team. During the return, 10-yard penalty from the dead ball spot, first down.
That's Miles White. You know, Bernard Pollard's got one speed, Eddie.
Yeah, it's full. And you love it because that's what it takes. He's really recreating the culture for what this team is going to be about.
It's not the same, but it's along the lines of what happened when Kyle Vanden Bosch joined the Titans.
Absolutely. I mean, he wasn't drafted by the Titans, but he comes in with that championship pedigree, and
he was different.
Now
he came in and he practiced different, and
that's what you have to do.
And people looked at him funny at first, and then everybody practiced.
Everybody starts practicing, and then it translates to wins on the field.
So first down, and Reddick's going to hand off up to about the 15-yard line. The importance of that extra point for the Titans is that they now have a touchdown lead, 20 to 16. It would seem that overtime is no longer a threat. No, I don't mean to jinx us by bringing that up, but it would seem to not be a threat. There's Ladarius Perkins with that carry. He is still in the backfield. And the quarterback is still Chase Reddick. Play action. He is going downtown to Alex Gillette, and he can't make the play, but he gets a flag.
That ball was
pass interference, number 35 defense, first down, spot of a foul.
That ball was severely underthrown, which led to the pass interference play because he had a couple steps on him, and clearly, that's a good call. Interference from both sides.
Mark Anthony, number 35, a obviously multi-talented musician / athlete. I had to go there. I apologize.
Yeah, you did. And he was married to J-Lo for a time. It must have been nice. Anyway,
it's first and 10 for the Packers at the 43-yard line of Tennessee. And the Packers are now going to take a timeout with 4:13 to play in this football game, as Mike McCarthy will talk things over with Chase Reddick. I haven't had a lot of chance to talk to you about this, Eddie. Ray Horton is the Titans' new defensive coordinator who had some experience with Coach Wisenhunt in Arizona. The offensive coordinator is Jason Michael, who comes over from San Diego with Coach Wisenhunt, where he was the tight ends coach. He's the offensive coordinator, but the head coach is still calling the plays. Yeah. And that I always think that's an interesting dynamic.
It is. It hasn't worked well for a lot of coaches that have done that. It's tough for Wisenhunt to let go of the play calling because I get the sense that he's a very hands-on guy. He loves his job.
Loves offense.
Loves offense, and he has to have his thumbprint on that. To give that to somebody else is tough. But if it leads to wins and it leads to success, then you don't mess with it. But I'm curious to see how that's going to pan out when you have to manage the entire game, not just the offense.
Well, I mean, he's done it before at a high level. But again, like you said, we've seen Jason Garrett. He ended up having it stripped away from him, and you've seen it a few times in the NFL. Coach Shanahan is another guy who did it. So first down, Ladarius Perkins with the carry, and he is bottled up at about the 40, so about a 3-yard gain. But Jason Michael, another Western Kentucky guy, I believe he led them to a national championship at quarterback. And an interesting aspect of him is he also coached at Tennessee. And Philip Fulmer is a huge fan of Jason Michael. 2nd and 7 for Reddick. Play action. He stumbles, and he's got all sorts of heat coming his way, and Reddick's just going to tuck in and run, and Patrick Bailey takes him down for a short loss. Get the Titans 2-pack. Choose the NFC or AFC package by calling 615-565-4200 right now. Select the Cowboys, Giants, or Browns, Steelers to lock in your seats at LP Field. For more info, call 615-565-4200 right now to speak to a Titans ticket rep or online at titansonline.com/tickets. 3rd and long with 2:50 to play. You gotta think this is 4-down territory, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Titans bring a linebacker. Reddick throws, and it is caught for a 1st down.
A well-thrown ball by Reddick, finding his receiver on the out route right at the sticks. Good job, good protection by the offensive line. Steps up, makes the throw, 1st down, Green Bay.
Justin Perillo, the tight end, makes the catch. He's a rookie from Maine. He's a Black Bear. Black Bears of Maine. 1st and 10. This one's going down to the wire. 2:05 to play. Reddick hands. Ladarius Perkins bouncing to the outside. And he's close to a 1st down. That takes us to the 2-minute warning. The Titans have got the lead, but they've got to hold on. You're watching the Titans Preseason Network, brought to you by Nissan.
Tennessee Titans preseason football has been brought to you by Nissan's Bottom Line Sales Event. Choose a better way to drive and save. Shop ChooseNissan.com today. And by Xfinity. And the Tennessee Lottery.
Charlie Whitehurst of the Titans lead, 20-16. In case you missed it, here's another look at tonight's play of the game, brought to you by your local Ford of Franklin and Ford of Murfreesboro. And it's Charlie Whitehurst showing off the wheels.
Showing off the wheels, showing his escapability. Throws it toward the sideline. We thought it was going out, but see Bishop Sankey on the receiving end, picking up the 1st down. Great improvisation.
A short run by the Packers on 2nd and 2 will set up a 3rd down. I got to tell you, I didn't even see Bishop Sankey on that play because he was right at the sideline in front of all of his Titan teammates, and he just disappeared in there.
Yeah, blended in well.
3rd and 1. Perkins caught from behind and dropped by Patrick Bailey, and Eddie there short, and with 1:30 to play, it's going to come down to a 4th down here.
Definitely going for it here.
Patrick Bailey, a special teams ace for the Titans, comes up, diving in from his outside linebacker spot to make a nice play behind the line of scrimmage.
Good hustle by Bailey, getting on the backside. Let's see if Tennessee can stop him here and seal the victory.
4th and 1 from the 23. Reddick to throw, going deep, and it's broken up. It's incomplete. Incomplete.
I was expecting to see a flag or something. There was a lot of physical play on both sides, but
the two referees were looking at each other to see if it was an interception or not. But it's Rashard Anderson who gives a little bump right there. And got position, though. And when you get position, you can get the call.
And that call could have gone either way because he did make contact 5 yards down the field, but a nice job of turning around, making a play, an attempt play on the ball.
He found the football.
Yes.
And how many times do we see defensive backs not turn their head and find the football, and that's when they get flagged. And so Rashard Anderson comes up with the big play, the rookie from Syracuse. I know a guy who wore number 53 who's probably smiling ear to ear right now, or we're one of his Orangemen.
That's right, with the orange now, as they call it.
So 52 seconds to go, and Zach Mettenberger is going to take a knee, and the Tennessee Titans, who look like they might drop this one at one point tonight, are going to move to 23-8 all-time in the preseason here at LP Field in a game that just started out in a monsoon.
Yeah.
Became entertaining down the stretch. Get the Titans 2-pack. Choose the NFC or AFC package by calling 615-565-4200. Select the Cowboys, Giants, or the Browns, Steelers to lock in your seats at LP Field. For more information, call 615-565-4200 right now to speak to a Titans ticket rep or online at titansonline.com/tickets. And so the final 10 seconds come off the field. The two head coaches are going to shake hands, and the guys in two-tone blue will walk off the field with the victory. Your final score at LP Field: Tennessee Titans 20, Green Bay Packers 16. More on the Titans Preseason Network after this.